This is the Voyager spacecraft. Voyager 1 and its twin, Voyager 2, were both created by NASA and launched into space in 1977. The initial purpose of Voyager was to check out Jupiter and Saturn, take pictures, and send back any other data that Earth may find interesting. Of course, Jupiter and Saturn have both come and gone as the Voyagers continued on their way through the solar system. Voyager 1 passed by Pluto back in 1990 and had left the solar system by the year 2004. By 2012, Voyager 1 had reached interstellar space, the space between stars. Voyager 2 would hit that milestone in 2018. But there was another unique purpose for sending out these spacecraft. See, both Voyagers 1 and 2 contained something very special. Each craft carries a gold-plated phonograph record. The record itself, a 12-inch disc actually made of copper, contains about 5 or 6 hours worth of sounds, voices, and music selected to portray the diversity of Earth's cultures. The sounds of life on Earth. The spacecraft were sent out with these records in hopes that someday, in the distant future, another intelligent civilization would find one and get to hear a piece of history from a long-lost planet Earth. And you can actually listen to the contents of this record, the sounds of life on Earth or something, sounds of planet Earth or something like that it's called. Now, there's a couple ways you can do this. You can actually purchase the record, and that's almost $100, or you can listen to it online for free, just right here on YouTube. Seriously, all you gotta do is just type in like Voyager record or something like that, and you'll find it. It's about a 5-hour long video, but it's worth it. It's worth a listen. Of course, I didn't play the whole thing start to finish. You know, I might one of these days, but I did really enjoy just listening to all of the different languages. And hearing the words of all of these world leaders, you know, who were around during the time that the record was being made. So it's something that if you're interested in, you should absolutely go check it out. It's amazing. It's amazing. It's got, you know, all these like spoken word messages about how we come in peace and harmony, things like that. It's got classical music. It's got like stuff from some of the really big composers throughout history. It's got, I think it has Chuck Berry's Johnny B. Good on there twice. I'm pretty sure that song ends up on the record twice, so you know that's a good jam when it gets sent off into space and the aliens get to listen to it 2 times. So anyways, what I wanted to do my reading on is something kind of fun. In the future, is the Voyager spacecraft, either 1 or 2, because they both contain a copy of the same record, is it ever found? You know, does anybody encounter this sometime in the future and give it a listen? What would they think? What would they say? So I'm going to see if I can use the tarot cards. The Fool card just jumped out, which is interesting. Considering, you know, the enormous vastness of space, considering how almost inconceivably large the solar system is and the galaxy and the universe and stuff, we're still kind of in the new beginning stage of the Voyager craft's journeys. Anyways, I guess I'll figure out what I should ask first. What should I ask first, Spirit? You know what, let's use the cards and first of all take a look at the journey that this golden record has been on. And I understand that there's 2 different crafts with, you know, 2 copies of the same record, but I think that we can sort of just sum it up, both Voyagers 1 and 2. What has their journey been like? What has the journey been like? What can the tarot tell us? Oh, well, my tarot deck told me that my cards were all upside down, so we'll try that again. And also, my camera was in a weird spot. I decided I didn't like it that high anyway, so let's see. What has the journey been like? How would the tarot describe that? Are these even the right cards to be using? Okay, there we go. There we go. That's better. Strength and the Three of Cups, strong celebrations. This is kind of a big deal in human history. And it's not just the Voyager crafts that are a big deal. It's really all of the advancements that human beings have made when it comes to space flight and research and finding out what is out there and the composition of our stars and our planets and our galaxies and things like that. It really is fascinating. The way that humans have been able to push the boundaries of how far can we go? What extent of knowledge about our universe around us can we receive? What are we limited to? And it seems as though, now for human bodies out in space, no, we probably can't go flying out past Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. It takes a very long time. Of course, human bodies require a lot of maintenance. We know this just even from having life on Earth. So, the machinery, though, and the limits that our spacecrafts and our unmanned satellites and stuff have been able to reach are really boundless. It's endless. It's almost like there are no limits to human intelligence and human knowledge and what people can learn. This is really something to celebrate. Every single achievement that people have made when it comes to learning about our universe and space flight and travel and stuff, even the really small things are worth celebrating. And so that's what the tarot, that's what Spirit is telling us here. It's very, both crafts have had a strong journey. I think they are both still sending back images and just data to Earth from far, far away, from as far away as they are. It's amazing. It's honestly amazing. It's incredible. Something else that Spirit is showing us with these tarot cards is the journey has been long and kind of arduous. So, I mean, it's been great. The spacecrafts have both held up. The records have probably, hopefully, both held up. But the flight has been long. Almost 50 years. 40 years. 1977 to 2017, I guess that would be 40 years. But still, they're still flying. They're not damaged, at least as far as I know. They're still able to submit information back to Earth. But the flight has taken a long, long time. And something with this Nine of Wands is there's a little bit of an embattlement or like a little bit of tiredness. Now, the spacecrafts have both held up fantastically, but I suppose maybe some elements are starting to maybe, I don't know if I want to use the word decay, but there might be some things like maybe the power systems or the battery or something are starting to wear down. Nothing lasts forever. We already know that. We already knew that. The Voyager spacecrafts, they're both expected to still be working well into 2020. There's some elements on board the crafts that are supposed to still be working even in the next couple of years past. Like, I think the date they sort of estimate is about 2022. But there's still a chance that the spacecraft is still able to send just information, not necessarily pictures anymore after a while, but information. So we are seeing maybe some parts of the spacecraft are getting worn out and a little bit tired from the very long travel, the gravitational fields that it's had to navigate, the extreme cold temperatures in this vacuum of space, the cold temperatures and I mean, they're further away from the sun now, so it's not as big of a problem, but sometimes out in space, when you're facing the sun, you could be like boiling. And as soon as you face away from the sun, you're freezing. The temperature out there is very close to absolute zero. Like it's cold. So the craft has been able to put up with a lot of that for a long time. Some things are starting to wear out though. Okay. The next thing I want to ask Spirit is, are either of the golden records ever going to be found? And I suppose that's a bit of a yes-no question. And with the tarot, sometimes yes-no is not always the best direction to go when you ask things. But what can we add to that then? Are the records ever going to be found? If so, I want to know more information. But if not, I also want to know why not. So let's see what Spirit is going to tell us. Now I do have one card that's out, but I think I want to pull a couple more. The first thing the Spirit wants to say regarding this is like, first and foremost, Earth has, well, access to the contents of the record. A future version of the Earth has access. Because I had mentioned earlier, you can purchase a record or you can just listen to it online for free. That's not going to stop people from, I don't think you can have, like, burn a CD that's 5 or 6 hours long, but several CDs. You know, people probably already found a way to download that real super big audio file and stuff like that. People on Earth have their ways of accessing this information. And it's something that, as our civilization progresses, as we evolve, as we grow and we change, that few hours of music, speaking, sounds, I know that on the record there are things like the sound of rainstorms and different kinds of weather events and things like that. It's all a piece of human history. Now, of course, from the time of the composers of, you know, Beethoven and Mozart and those guys to the 1970s when this record was made, a lot of things had changed and, you know, music had changed and languages had probably evolved a little bit over the hundreds of years of content. It's content that spans or originates from like the last few centuries. And it's all become a really big part of life on Earth. Now, humans, in the grand scheme of things, have not been around for very long, as opposed to everything else in the universe, really. So what the world has access to is a tiny snippet of what human civilization was like for a little while prior to 1977. Interestingly, because I'm asking about other life forms or civilizations, I guess I could use the word aliens. They're aliens to us, but to them, we would be the aliens, right? But to these other civilizations, I got something interesting. If this were to be found, some of their leaders would want this to not necessarily be hidden forever, but to be hidden from their public until they were able to decode and figure out what the heck this thing is. Now, before the Voyager crafts and the records and stuff were blasted off, apparently they also included instructions. I don't know if they sent a little record player and some spare needles, but they did send some instructions on how to decode all of the information and a basic gist of what kind of information is present on the record. So I do feel as though if another civilization out there found this, the leaders would try to keep it under wraps until they knew what the heck it was. And this is an impression that I'm getting. This is intuitive information that I'm getting as well. Obviously, you can take or leave whatever I say. But if you've been with me this far into my channel, then you already know this. What I'm being reminded of is the Roswell, New Mexico incident in 1947, when apparently a UFO, I don't know, crashed down or something happened there. I don't know, I wasn't born yet, but some stuff with UFOs happened. And I'm also being reminded of, Area 51 and the military and the Air Force and stuff. They have all of this information on unidentified flying objects and things that might have come from space, that they're keeping it under wraps. They're keeping it out of the public's knowledge and out of the public's view. Now, what I'm getting is some of the reason for that is because they don't know what the heck these things are that have just appeared on Earth or whatever. Certain things, they want to know what they are and what they're for before any information about them gets released. I have the moon here, which is saying that it might be a gradual thing. The moon refers to information, usually like secrets and mysteries and stuff that are maybe hard to understand at the present, but they are becoming, they become more obvious over time. They are revealed to the wanderer, or, they're revealed to you over time. So with these Voyager records, if they were found by other civilizations, it might take them a while to figure out how to access the information that's on the disk, on the records. It might take them a while to figure out what these are for. There could be a little bit of confusion about what is this, what's the purpose of it, but they will ultimately figure it out. Now, the records and the spacecraft and all of that stuff that's sent from Earth is sent with peace, and it's sent with goodwill, and it's sent with good intentions. And that will become known to those who come across the record. That's actually really amazing. They'll get sort of a little snapshot of human history at that time. What was relevant to humans at that time. What was relevant to many of Earth's cultures. And a lot of the world leaders on there give messages in various languages, and a lot of these messages are something along the lines of, greetings from planet Earth. We send this out in peace. This is a message of peace. This is a message of harmony. They make it very clear that there's no bad intentions. There's no ill will. That the purpose of sending this out was, educational, so that we could learn more about the universe around us and maybe eventually teach another alien culture or, teach another intelligent civilization about those weird aliens on that long-lost planet Earth. So they're going to become aware of the message of peace that comes with the Voyager crafts and the record. All right. I found it interesting that other civilizations might handle that the same way that we currently handle UFOs and stuff like that. Sometimes the government likes to keep it under wraps and try to keep people from panicking and try to keep people from knowing too much about something that the government itself may not be totally familiar with either. So I found it kind of cool that other extraterrestrial civilizations are likely going to have the same response. Now, what is the next thing I should ask Spirit? You know what I want to ask? If in the future the records are ever found, what is the general response going to be from those who find it and figure out how to use it? Because we did see that with the moon card, it was going to take them a while to figure out how to access the information. And they were going to see that the intent was peace and harmony. It was not a weapon, it was not anything bad, it was just to satiate the insatiable, which is human curiosity. So what is the response going to be from the civilization that may eventually find Voyager 1 or 2 or both golden records? Because remember, both records are the same. They have the same stuff on it, the same everything. Wow. I have the 10 of Swords. This, by then, who knows if Earth will still be around? Of course, this is going to lead into my next maybe question, next few cards, but they're going to be reminded of a dead civilization. It's kind of like how archaeologists find, they're digging in the dirt and they find some dinosaur bones and they are seeing remnants of dead species. Or they find pottery, or they find jewelry, or they find some like arrowheads or weapons or, things like that that belong to societies from long, long ago. That's what the civilization that finds the Voyager records, they're going to be, that's what they're going to be reminded of first and foremost. Wow, we found something from a culture that might not even exist anymore, from a civilization that's come and gone, who knows how long ago. Kind of a silly thought came in, but all those people are dead now. All those people are dead now. It's just funny that came in. Anyways, the King of Cups. Maybe we'll do one at a time here. King of Cups. There's all these world leaders that got to speak and record something for the record. And it may not be every world leader at that time, but there were many of them. Many. And the message was peace and harmony. The King of Cups is a character that is quite peaceful, has the emotions under control, has stuff under control. And around him, the waters are crazy and the boats are, you can see that. The boats are like crashing around and stuff behind him, but he himself is calm and cool. And there's a lot that happens out there in the universe. There are all kinds of blastings from cosmic rays and comets and asteroids and space debris. And there's all kinds of stuff that goes on in the background on planet Earth too. We got our natural disasters, we got our wars, we got our whatever else it is that, can be considered quite crazy. But this record is just sort of representing how well put together, how well put together it was, but also how a lot of the people of Earth got together. The people of Earth, assembled themselves, well put together for the purpose of putting out this information. And now the extraterrestrial, like that civilization or whoever it is that ends up finding the Voyager records. Because I'm not getting a no. honestly, from Spirit, I'm not getting a no. It's more of an inevitability, but it will take a very, 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 very long time. So it's like a very slow and gradual yes. The record and the messages and the music and stuff on the record is meant to convey peace and harmony from the planet Earth. They're also going to see this, there's that dead civilization. All those people are dead now. Trying to preserve a piece of their culture and a piece of their time on Earth. Trying to preserve a piece of their Earth experience. It's amazing. Is there anything else we can know how another civilization is going to react to finding this? Because, they're thinking about, what I'm getting is that it's almost overwhelming. They're thinking about how this is a long dead civilization that sent us this. Now to them, it's like they're thinking we're long dead. Who knows what people are going to be like by the time this is found and what Earth is going to be like. But I'll get into that next. But first, these aliens or this extraterrestrial intelligent civilization, I found it interesting that they were really fixated on just how dead the civilization that sent out that record will be at that time. It would be like somebody from, let's say 2000 BC burying a time capsule, and it contained, let's just say they had the ability to provide us with what their music sounded like, with what their spoken language sounded like, with now there are photos, I think, on the records as well. I think there's a way to access photos and images. So like say this time capsule, let's say they had the ability to put all that stuff in, and photos and some mementos and things that were very important to them, and we were to find it now, we would go, gosh, this was so long ago. We have this information from a civilization that's been long dead. But we're learning about them and we're hearing from them and seeing them as if they were here now. I like that is one of the biggest responses. Card that fell out also is the Page of Wands. There'd be a lot to learn. It's almost like, now this is a card of usually, documents or paperwork or things like that. And, or sometimes, like news and information. This would be considered very, very important news to the society that finds the Voyager records. Okay, so the next thing I wanted to ask was, what is Earth going to be like? It would be very, very long in the future, from what I'm getting from Spirit. I love that the answer is not no. That Spirit is leaving room, basically, for somebody to find the Voyager records. So what's Earth going to be like by then? Okay, I just had a whole bunch fly out, so I guess those are the ones. Well, okay. These two are showing me, this Page of Swords and this Four of Cups are showing me that a few, how do I want to say this, versions of humanity have come and gone. I'm hearing 4 millennia with this Four of Cups. I'm just hearing from Spirit at least 4 millennia. something else with this Page of Swords. Ooh. I think it's saying to me, we might be a little disappointed to know that humans as we know them, our society as we know it is not going to be the society that's in place on Earth by the time the Voyager records are found. A lot will have changed. I'm also getting that there's going to be, it's kind of like a young civilization on Earth. Now, like I said, human beings in the grand scheme of things are still pretty new, considering the Earth is supposed to be like billions of years old. Like it's an inconceivable number of years old. And we've seen, kind of, through the eyes of anthropology and science and research and archaeology, different civilization. You know, there was like the Neanderthals and Homo habilis and Homo erectus, and you know, now we got Homo sapiens, and then history is, you know, or what should I say? I guess the Earth has seen human history go through all kinds of changes. The ancient Greeks, the Athenians, the Spartans, the Dorians, the Romans, the Roman Empire, rise and fall. That took a long time. Many centuries, you know, and then like the Vikings, and anyways, in the medieval times, all of these different kinds of civilizations, and a lot of people would consider, you know, the Vikings to maybe be a different civilization than the ancient Greeks. I don't really know who came first or if they coexisted at the same time or what. Or like, for example, Australopithecus, I think that's what the skeleton that they called Lucy, the humanoid figure from, you know, the civilization of when people walked around looking a little more ape-like and a little more what we'd call caveman-like to now. They're very different, okay? So that's something that's I'm getting is like humans have changed several times. Customs and societies and stuff. The wheel of life and history in the world just keeps turning, right? So at least 4 millennia was what I heard from Spirit. And then I have the Ace of Wands, which was another reason why I was thinking it's like a younger civilization, why I kept getting that. Especially with the Page of Swords. The pages refer to something that's not necessarily in its infancy, but something that's very young. Sometimes the pages refer to children or teenagers. So it could be a human civilization that, you know, is maybe being around for, we would consider it a very long time, but to them, they're still very new. Or a certain society or something is still very young. Something else about life on Earth, what it's going to be like around the time that the Voyager records are found. Civilization, or human civilization anyways, they're still like, we're still quite industrious and still very hardworking with this Knight of Pentacles. There's also a reliability with this card, and what I am getting is like humans have found a way to come up with, you know, I'm not trying to be controversial or anything here, but come up with reliable ways to use resources, reliable ways to literally power homes and power society. Maybe more reliable ways to do their jobs, more efficient ways and maybe easier ways, or just more time-tested and true ways of doing things. With the Six of Swords and the Seven of Cups in reverse, what I'm getting is people on Earth, and we think right now we're living in the age of information where we have access to everything because of the internet. It's even more so in the future. Confusion. Been able to move past uncertainty in a lot of areas, which might be why they are able to live and work a little bit more efficiently, reliably than we maybe do now. The next thing I have is the Temperance card. There's a really good balance between technological advancements and access to technology and human power. So we're always, yes, we're going to have our robots and our AIs and all these automated things that it's going to make life easier, but there still seems to be a balance between that and actual hard human work. And that's what seems to be going on life on Earth by the time the Voyager records are found. Spirit, I want to ask your opinion, though. What do you think of this? How do you feel about this? That the human beings on Earth have this ability to go and explore what lies outside of the planet, what lies outside of the friggin' solar system. Our advancements in technology and everything we've been learning about space and really, maybe when people learn lots and lots about space and what's outside of the solar system and the planet, in a way, we take it back home with us and we learn more about ourselves and our own planet. So Spirit, what do you think about that? How do you feel about that? I'm hearing the word awe, A-W-E, just in absolute awe. Humans have taken up the offer to look outside of themselves. Something that I'm getting from Spirit. There's also this being very impressed. There's a feeling of being very impressed here with this Knight of Cups. So I love that. The Spirit is absolutely in awe of human beings and is God, universe, source, whatever, is so impressed with us. We're impressed with ourselves as well. Heeding the call, I heard heed the call, H-E-E-D, heed the call. Part of why Spirit's so impressed with us is we have the ability to do this, to heed the call of curiosity. What's out there? Thinking about this one a little bit. But we have made the choice to branch out and reach out outside of ourselves to see if we are alone or if there's somebody else out there. On the bottom of the deck, I have the Wheel of Fortune. And I'm just listening to the message from Spirit. This is the fate of humanity. It's not fate in a bad way. It's not fate as in this is the death of humanity. It's people want to learn. People have a tendency to learn and grow. Humans are intelligent. Our intelligence is an absolute gift. And we're using it to the best of our abilities. Sometimes. Not always, but sometimes. And what this says about humanity, just as a whole, as a species. Sure, we went millennia, thousands of millennia, just focused on our own survival, the here and now. What's happening on Earth. Raiding the next village so we can get food. The Spirit I'm getting is very inspired by us and our ability to adapt and overcome our challenges, so that we might be able to work on the next thing on our to-do list. All right, so we worked out survival, basically, for the most part. Now what's going on outside of our planet? There's got to be more to life than just us, right? We were meant to discover. Some of the reasons that we were put here on Earth. Now, this is a totally different can of worms, right? This is almost stuff for another video itself, but humans are, we're sent to Earth. We're sent here to be humans, some of us, to explore our world, to explore our surroundings. Because when we're born on Earth, we forget everything that we knew in the spiritual realm prior to being born. It gives us a brand new perspective on where we come from and where we live, on who we are and on what we are and on where we are. It gives us a brand new perspective, which gives us a beautiful appreciation for the life that we have and for all that is. And that's what I got. That's all I got for this video. I absolutely loved doing this. I'm absolutely fascinated with this kind of stuff. So if you liked this, let me know in the comments. Slap that thumbs up button, hit the subscribe, notification bell if you want to be notified every time I upload. Stick around for my Saturday streams. I do those most Saturdays. Today's Tuesday though, so you got a little bit to wait since this goes up. But anyways, y'all, thank you very much for joining me on my channel, and I'm really, really excited for our next visit together.